Hello, welcome to A Few Minutes with Esther. I'm Buddy Pennington, pastor of Westfield Assembly of God in Holmes County, Florida, the host for the study. In this particular video, we're going to cover quite a number of verses from the story of Esther. In fact, we'll go from chapter 8, verse 15, all the way through chapter 9, verse 17. Now, this portion of the scripture, the culmination of Haman's evil plot against the Jews, has been turned to a victory for the Jews. The king, at the request of Queen Esther, has decreed that the Jews could defend themselves. The date that was set for their destruction turned into a day in which they had great victory over those that hated them. In the royal city of Shushan alone, they killed over 500 people who opposed them. They were able to eliminate Haman's 10 sons. The whole house of Haman was turned over to Esther, and she put Mordecai in charge of it. After the series of events that led up to the defeat of Haman and the defeat of those who hated the Jews, Queen Esther was able to encourage her people through her position. Mordecai became very well known in the empire because of his influence with the king, and people actually decided to turn to the Jewish faith because they were so afraid of what the Jews were going to be able to do since the king was backing them. Quite a turn of events compared to what Haman had originally planned. There's something I'd like to point out to you that is covered in this vast number of scriptures we're dealing with in this video. God will take care of those who oppose his people. And sometimes he does it in a way that brings about complete destruction of the enemies of God's chosen people. In this instance, we have a destruction of everyone who hated the Jews. And an interesting thing occurred. The people were able to avenge themselves against those who hated them. They would have been able to take the plunder from those that they had killed, but they chose not to do that. They did not put their hands on any of the plunder that was available to them. They merely defended themselves and destroyed those who hated them. This is reminiscent, actually, of what happened with Pharaoh when he pursued the Israelite nation and had them trapped against the Red Sea. Pharaoh had let them go. He changed his mind and was going to go back against his word and recapture them and bring them back to Egypt and put them back into slavery. God had already humbled the Egyptian nation through the plagues. And the final blow to Pharaoh came when his chariots and his great army were destroyed in the Red Sea as its waves overwhelmed them and they drowned. You see, God will take care of his people. And sometimes that taking care of includes the absolute destruction of those who oppose his people. I want to encourage you in this video. Hang on to your faith in God. Keep your trust in him. He will protect you and he will take care of those who oppose you. And sometimes it's in ways that are very dramatic in nature. It's our prayer that these studies will be a blessing to you. Our next video will be the conclusion of the study on the book of Esther, and we will move into a study in a couple of weeks after that. May God richly bless you until next time, whenever we get together for the conclusion of A Few Minutes with Esther.